Letter 14. My dear Father, you will not require the testimony of my letters to enable you to appreciate the fame of the wonderful young man of Nazareth, Jesus, of whose works you must have heard ere this. His fame for wisdom, for knowledge of the Scriptures, for power to teach, and for miracles has gone abroad through all Syria, so that they bring to him sick persons, both rich and poor, even from Damascus, to be healed of him. And he heals all who are brought unto him, whether possessed of devils, lunatic, or having the palsy. While I now write, a company is passing the open window, bearing upon beds 2 wealthy men of Jerusalem, given over by their physicians, who are going to him to be cured. So great is the multitude which everywhere follows Jesus, writes John to Mary, that he is often compelled to withdraw from them by stealth to get to some by-place of quiet where he can refresh his wearied strength for a few days. At such times, we, who are his immediate followers, have the benefit of his teaching and private instructions. But he cannot remain long away from the people. They soon penetrate his retirement. How wonderful is he who thus holds in his hands divine power! The authority of kings is nothing before that which he possesses in his voice, yet he is serene, humble, oh, how humble, to our shame, and always calm and gentle. He spends much time in private prayer to God, whom he always addresses as his Father. Never was such a man on earth. We who know him most intimately stand most in awe of him, yet with our deep reverence for his holy character is combined the purest affection. In one and the same breath, I feel that I adore him as my Lord and love him even as my brother. So we all feel toward him. Such, my dear Father, is the tenor of all John's letters. When we shall see Jesus at Jerusalem, I shall be able from personal observation to write to you more particularly concerning his doctrines and miracles. What is also of importance, it has been proven by the results of the examination made by some of the scribes of the temple that he was truly born in Bethlehem, and that both his mother Mary and Joseph her husband are lineal descendants of the house of David. Moreover, Phinehas, the venerable priest whom you know, hath borne testimony to the fact that when Jesus was an infant, during the reign of the elder Herod, there arrived in Jerusalem 3 eminent princes, men of wisdom and learning. One of these men came from Persia, one from the Grecian province of Media, and one from Arabia, and brought with them gifts of gold and spices, and were attended by retinues. These 3 princes reached Jerusalem the same day by 3 different ways, and entered by 3 different gates, each unknowing to the other's presence or object, till they met in the city before Herod's palace. One represented himself descended from Shem, another from Japhet, the third from Ham. And they mysteriously, it is said, typified all the races of the earth, who by them recognized and adored the Savior of men in the child Jesus. The king, hearing that these 3 strangers had arrived in Jerusalem, sent to know wherefore they had honored his kingdom with a visit. They answered, says Phinehas, that they came to do homage to the young prince who was born king of the Jews. And when Herod asked what prince they spoke of, they answered, We have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. Hereupon, says Phinehas, the king issued an edict for all the chief priests and scribes of the people to assemble in the council chamber of his palace. He then addressed them, Ye to whom is given the care of the books of the law and the prophets, whose study they are, and in whom lies the skill to interpret the prophecies, search therein, and tell me truly where the Christ is to be born. Behold here present these august and wise men who have come from afar to do him homage, nay more, as they aver, to worship him as God. Let us have the courtesy to give them the answer that they seek, and let us not be found more ignorant of these things than those who dwell in other lands. Several of the chief priests then rose and said, It is known, O king, to all who are Jews and who read the prophets, that Messiah cometh of the house of David, of the town of Bethlehem. For thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. This question being thus decided, continued Phinehas, Herod dismissed the council, and retiring to his own private room, secretly sent to the 3 princes of the east to inquire of them what time the star appeared. He then said to them, "You have my permission, noble strangers, to go to Bethlehem and search for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also." Then they left the presence of Herod, and it being dark when they left the palace, they were overjoyed to behold the star which they saw in the east going before them. They followed it until it left Jerusalem by the Bethlehem gate, and it led them on to the town of Bethlehem, and stopped above a humble dwelling therein. When they were come into the house, they saw the rays of the star resting upon the head of an infant in the arms of its mother Mary, the wife of Joseph. They at once acknowledged and hailed him as Prince and King of Israel, and falling down worshipped him, and opening their treasures, they presented unto him gold, frankincense, and myrrh, gifts that are offered on the altar to God alone. When Phinehas was asked by Caiaphas how he knew this fact, he answered that he himself, prompted by curiosity to see the prince they had come to worship, had followed them out of the palace of Herod, out of the gate, and even into Bethlehem, and witnessed their prostrations and offerings to the infant child of Mary. "And," he added, "if this be doubted, there are many Jews now living in Jerusalem, and a certain Hebrew captain, now stricken in years, who can testify to the slaughter by Herod's command of the infants of Bethlehem. For this captain Jeremias led on the soldiers." "And wherefore this slaughter?" asked Caiaphas. "It is not on record." "Kings do not record their deeds of violence," answered Phinehas. "Herod kept it hushed up when he found that he gained nothing by it but hatred. He slew them in order that the infant Jesus might be destroyed among them. For the 3 wise men, instead of returning through Jerusalem to their own country and informing him where they had found the child, departed by another way. But the child escaped, doubtless by God's powerful protection." "Dost thou believe in him also?" asked Caiaphas with angry surprise, looking sternly on Phinehas. "I will first see and hear him speak, and if he be proven to me to be Messias, I will gladly worship him." Hereupon, said Rabbi Amos, there arose a great uproar, some crying that Jesus was the Christ, and others that Phinehas should be stoned to death. Thus you see, my dear father, how the evidence increases in value and importance, proving Jesus to be the Messiah. Tell me, is not this the Christ? Your affectionate and loving Adina.